Hi, it's Josie. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Josie. Welcome. And if you don't know what this video is about, you may want to go watch the other video. I will link you in the comments and the description, okay? The first video. Now, it's been a long time coming for this video. Finally, I am sitting down to have a moment with you loves. Um, Now, a Ketu Mahadasha is a 7-year long period that has the nickname that people give the superstition about when you break a mirror and you have 7 years bad luck, okay? Like, that's what they call the Ketu Mahadasha. Ketu is the south node of the moon, okay? And it mainly involves detachment from the material world, material things, right? It's a very spiritual energy, and it kind of, during a Ketu Mahadasha, it throws you into like major seeker mode, okay? Like you lose a lot, okay? You lose a lot, like, material relationships, all kind of stuff. Anything that's tied to the 3D, you lose it, okay? I did not find out I was in my K2 Mahadasha until I was pretty much like in it, like halfway in it, because mine started back in 2015. And it wasn't until around 2018 that I shot the first K2 Mahadasha video. Because I had just found out that I was in it. And you can tell because I wasn't even saying the word K2 right. Okay. Um, that was also during the period of time that I decided to switch over to Vedic astrology and get more into that as well. Um, so I'm doing these videos because people need the support. People need to know, because this is no joke, this period of time, especially in the middle of your life when you're supposed to be raising a family and taking care of people and all kinds of stuff. But I always tell people, if you go through a K2 Mahadasha in your late 20s, early 30s, right? Um, Most likely it's because you have a really important spiritual purpose that's going to impact a lot of people. Because a lot of people usually go through a K2 Mahadasha as a child or after their second Saturn return, which is somewhere around, after 60 years old. Not in the middle of your life where you're supposed to be productive, okay? Hey, Angel Fish. I love you too. Um, so yeah, I gave y'all the first video and I was blown away by the comments that I was getting and really just understanding how much I was helping people by just telling my story, because that's all I'm doing. And this is based off of experience. You see what I mean? This is not an astrology video where I'm telling you about the energies in general. I've lived through a K2 Mahadasha, and I feel like I have a doctorate degree in something at this point because I survived a K2 Mahadasha, okay? Whew, man. and I'm winging this video because I'm trying to look. I have to place myself back in Orlando where I shot the first video. During that time of my life, I was coming into the energy of screw it. I'm going to sell everything in my apartment and I'm going to travel full time. That was the beginning of the shenanigans, okay? And I had already given y'all the story all the way up to that point, so I'm going to try not to reach back. And I'm going to try to start from that point on, okay? Um and I'm shooting from my phone, so I can't even look at my chart and tell you what part I was in, what Antardasha. That's the sub period of the major period. Um, but just know that when I shot the first video, I decided that I was going to travel full time. And I did. I sold everything in my apartment and I left Orlando and I traveled to California. I spent the whole summer, me and the boys. We spent the whole most of the summer at a Krishna temple in the mountains of Santa Cruz. Again, Ketu will force you into spiritual situations. So all of this traveling y'all saw me doing, it wasn't just, oh, I'm going here and I'm going there and I'm going to go shopping or go to some attraction. All of it had some kind of spirituality attached to it. I didn't expect to be at the ashram as long as I did. I didn't expect to get initiated. Okay, first of all, I had never been there. I didn't know anybody there except for the person that I went with. Okay, these were his people. Okay, and in any religion, organization, whatever you want to call it, tradition, you don't just walk into a place and be like, hi, my name is Josie, I want to be initiated, right? No, you don't. You don't do that. And I didn't do that. I found during the time that I was there that people just kept coming to me, are you being initiated? And I'm like, first of all, I don't even know what that is. Luckily I was going during the time of the Govinda Mela, and they were having a whole bunch of classes and teaching about bhakti yoga and all that stuff, so I could get a clue because everything was happening so fast. um so in my mind I was like, yeah, they're just talking, it doesn't make any sense anyway because this is my first time here. I know nothing about anything Krishna consciousness, like, at all. um And I assumed that the Maharaj don't just be, initiating people randomly. But my whole life has been random. I don't know why I thought that way. So yeah, I ended up getting initiated, even though it was my first time there. Again, I learned a lot. The Maharaj, they're not worried about whether you had read the Bhagavad Gita cover to cover or nothing like that. They really look more at your energy and what's happening there, more at who you are as a person, because you can know all you want to know about Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga, all of that stuff, but that's not all that qualifies you to be initiated. Okay. And y'all know me, I'm an Aquarius rising. Okay, so I'm anti-traditional everything. So anything that I pick up, I do it my way. So that's y'all a little disclaimer for the ones that are confused. Anyway, so I left California, right? And I went back to San Antonio, Texas, hanging out with my mom for a little bit. This is hilarious, you guys. I'm sorry because I'm thinking about this. I'm being brought back to these events. Um, I was doing a meditation one time. We were at an Airbnb at that time. I did a meditation and I was in a walk-in closet, and I saw diamonds. Like, I think my eyes turned into diamonds. And I was like, huh. And when stuff happens, I don't try to obsessively figure it out. I know that it'll make sense to me over time. So I ain't think nothing of it. I was like, diamond codes. I understood, but that's all I understood. I didn't understand anything else. I was like, diamond light codes, huh? And then probably the next day, I'm scrolling through some things, and I run into Jerry, the Star Magic Jerry. Yeah, I run into his stuff. Now, mind you, I had been friends with him probably since ever since 2016 on Facebook. We were Facebook friends. Tell me why. I never knew anything about what he was doing though. And I was like, what is this? What is this star magic stuff? And then I was too busy, so I didn't really look into it or nothing like that. I'm at a gas station, and next thing you know, I'm just chilling in the car, and everything turns blue. Like it's this gem like blue color, like a diamond blue luminescent color. Everything turned blue. And in that moment is when I got the download. I said, Jerry has my diamond light codes. I have to get them from Jerry. Right? Okay. I kid y'all not. This is true. I'm gonna try to stop blinding y'all with this window. But I realized that Jerry was the source of whatever this synchronicity was that was happening. So I went back and I looked into the star magic stuff that I skimmed over, and I saw one of his facilitator training videos. And I was sitting there, just like everybody, when you look at the facilitator training video and you see him, basically making people pass out and all kinds of craziness, like it looks a little like out there, like a Pentecostal church type stuff, but not like that. I just didn't believe what I was seeing right off. But again, I trust my intuition and I knew something was there. And it just so happened that they were having a facilitator training in Sedona, Arizona. And it was coming up fast, like within 2 weeks. And I did everything I could to make that happen and to be there. So I end up going to Sedona next, doing the facilitator training for Star Magic. Again, the traveling, I end up doing spiritual stuff, you know what I'm saying? And the moment that I realized that everything locked into place and the synchronicity had been figured out was when we were flipping through our books, and there was a part that was saying, different ways that you can open your third eye, right? Just, he shared a few different things you could do to open your third eye. And one of those was the Maha Mantra. He had it in there completely, the whole mantra was in the book. And I said, oh my gosh, I literally just got back a couple of months ago from California, from the temple where I learned this mantra. Yeah, I'm supposed to be here, right? Crazy. Morris, I'm shooting a video, love. I didn't want you to get carried away. So yeah, that was my road to becoming a Star Magic healing facilitator. I met one of my beautiful soul tribe there too. I kept one person. I kept a close relationship with one person from there, but I didn't even really start hanging out with her until a couple of years ago. I don't even know if it's been a couple of years. So there was a period of time where I ain't even, after the training, I ain't really talked to her like that. We were all just Facebook friends and stuff, but we didn't hang out in person or nothing like that. Last year is when we started actually hanging out in person. Y'all gonna be kind of all over the place with this story, but I think I have to say it right here. Last year is when I started hanging out with my friend from that I met at the Star Magic thing, okay, in 2019. And last year was 2021. So we had a gap of time where we didn't actually interact in person. I start hanging out with her and I pull her chart and I find out that she's literally only a few months behind me inside of a Ketu Mahadasha. And I was just done at that moment. So it made sense why we had such a strong connection compared to me keeping up with anybody else from that facilitator training. Okay. Um, so yeah, until this day now, she's a sister. She's around. So it's great. But yeah, that happened. But after facilitator training back in 2019, whew, I'm trying to think of what happened. After San Antonio, after I left Texas, I finally decided, oh, I'm going to go back home now to Jacksonville. Mind you, I was staying with my mom and then Airbnb, so I was still like traveling full time. I had not settled down and got my own place at all. So when I got to Jacksonville, it's the same thing, staying with a friend, staying in Airbnbs. I still had not settled, right? And I end up deciding, I don't look, don't go there with the confusion, people. It is what it is. I decided while I was staying in the Airbnb to try to make one of my visions come true, because I wanted to run an Airbnb because I had stayed in them so much. I was like, it would be so great if I could rent a place where I could actually have an Airbnb, because if you don't own the place, it's kind of hard to have an Airbnb because the landlord doesn't want you to have an Airbnb, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So I was like, it would be perfect if I could just manifest a place where the landlord would let me have an Airbnb. So I actually ended up doing that in a historical neighborhood, big old freaking 5-bedroom historical governor's mansion. Okay. And not only did I manifest that, what happened was the previous person that was moving out was already running an Airbnb. The person wanted whoever lived there to run an Airbnb. So when I moved into this place, I didn't have a mentality that, oh, this is my home and this is where I'm going to be. No, I was basically living there and running a B&B. You see what I mean? And I also was able to do some meetup events and all kinds of stuff because the place was huge. I had to literally purchase everything inside of a condo and bring it over there. Like being an Airbnb host, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you don't have people around helping you like they should. So that was fun for the 5 minutes that it lasted because COVID shut that down. And unfortunately, I was in San Antonio at the time. I had the last minute fly to San Antonio that February of 2020 because my grandma had passed away. Okay. And I had to go to her funeral. But not, because I'm not a funeral person. I don't go to funerals and things like that. But I needed to go support my mom because her mother passed, right? And I knew I needed to go support my mom. But there were some things that I had suspected that were going on with my mom, and this was my opportunity to observe and find out what was what. So when I did get to San Antonio, the things that I had suspected were true, and it was bad. Okay. So my mom wasn't okay. Y'all know the story. I shot the video when I was in Nebraska. Anyway, so I had to face that reality. But in the middle of all of that, my phone started going off and people were canceling left and right. I had one great month of everything. Okay. And then my phone just alerted me to COVID, basically. I got a whole bunch of cancellations. And then when I heard that they were canceling school, that's when I got on the phone with the airline and I was like, no, I cannot get stuck in San Antonio. So I changed my flight and I got home as soon as I could, despite the family drama that I was trying to digest. I promise y'all, because y'all know me, I'm going to tell it like it is. When I got back, I literally drank a whole bottle of red wine and took the longest bubble bath I could take because I had to try to handle all of this. Okay, the news with my mom, then my grandma passing, and then now there's COVID and everybody canceled an Airbnb. So I was not in the greatest place at that time. And I pretty much announced to everybody involved that I was leaving. I said I'm about to go. I don't care about none of this stuff. I'm leaving everything. I'm leaving. So then that's when I picked up with my friend and my son and we went back to California. Mind you, I drove, okay? We were driving. So this would be the second time that I drove to California, okay? So now I'm on the road again, full-time traveling again. Right in the heat of COVID, right? Again, staying in Airbnbs, having a great adventure. I absolutely loved my adventures. Met some people, some of my subscribers. It was great. The freaking farm stands, the food, the fresh food off the side of the road, the farmers and stuff in California. Oh, I just love that. It was awesome. So I'm out there again and I'm traveling and I end up having to kick my son off the road trip because, as usual, you know, we have our issues and we had to separate again. My grown child. I got to experience LA and figure out that I never want to hang out there. We had some not so great experiences that were attached to what my son had going on. But throughout this whole process, I had to rely on manifestation the most. Okay. So for those of you who are wondering how the hell I was even able to do all of the stuff that I was able to do, is because I was manifesting and I was letting a lot of things go. And of course, I had help from you guys when I needed help and I asked for help. You see what I mean? I was able to do that. There was one point where I was in Oakland at a Airbnb that was also it had those rooms where bunk beds and stuff. I don't know why I can't remember the name of those places. Anyway, where multiple people stay in one room, like even if you don't know them or whatever. Anyway, so I ended up having to stay there for like 2 weeks, and I was there by myself for a week. And I kept telling myself, you know what? I need a break from everything. I just need to reset. A hostel. Thank you. And I said, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to take care of me because things got crazy in LA. Okay? So, and for the most part, like, I started off doing that. You know, I had to adjust to Oakland too because I was kind of afraid. I didn't realize where I booked and it looked scary. My surroundings looked scary, but again, I had to walk through my fears. And just like everywhere I go, I can go in with the intention that I'm not going to do no spiritual stuff and I'm just going to keep my head down and take care of myself, whatever, right? No. It ended up being a situation where that 2 weeks that I was at that hostel, it seemed like a whole lifetime. Okay, like a whole Pisces moment here. I felt like I had a whole lifetime. So I ended up leading meditations My friend took me to the to see the redwoods and the forest. I ended up doing readings for people. A lot happened while I was at that house. And again, it was like a whole lifetime. I had adventures, and there was like three people I ended up staying in touch with from that. It was just awesome. Like, there are certain things I want to go back and do again. Okay. But yeah, what did I do after California? Oh, I randomly decided it would be great to visit Mount Shasta during the Lionsgate portal. So I knew that I was headed to Washington because my friend had joined me in Oakland, and I knew we had to go to Washington because we had two cars. But I thought it would be great to randomly decide the day before to go to Mount Shasta on the way, because it was on the way, during the Lionsgate portal. So that's what we did. Um, I called the little tour guide and I booked the appointment and I assured her that we would be there on time. I think we slept at a rest stop because we couldn't book anything close enough. So we slept at a rest stop and then we traveled the rest of the way. Um, and I had my Mount Shasta experience. I shot the video for that one, telling y'all about the manifestation and all that stuff. Um, then I headed on to Washington. Did I visit her then? No, I didn't. So I stayed in Washington, and then me and my friend headed to Colorado. And I ended up finding out that another friend of mine was living in Colorado, so I went to her. But the person that I was traveling with ended up having to go to Alabama, like from Colorado. So that left me in Colorado. And that's where I met Shams online. Next thing you know, I book a ticket because my plans got changed in Colorado. So I said, screw it. I'm going to Africa. So I book a ticket 3 months in advance. And y'all know I get my kids on a schedule, usually during the summer and during the holidays. So because I knew I was going to Africa in December, I went on ahead and adjusted the time that the boys were going to be with me. So I had them in October and a little bit of November. So I'm in Colorado and I'm staying with my friend. And then the boys come to Colorado and we drive up to Nebraska because I got a good deal on an Airbnb. I had a little 3-bedroom house in a town in the middle of nowhere. So we spent the whole month of October chilling, not bothered, in our own little bubble, experiencing snow, you know, all that great stuff. Then we came back to Colorado and we stayed at another Airbnb closer to where my friend stayed for a little bit before they left and went back home. And then after they went back home, I prepared to go to Africa. It's crazy when you talk about it. Okay, so then I go to Africa. Never been to the continent ever. So before, like that whole period of time, from the time I booked my ticket, I was doing research, networking, talking to people, learning everything that I needed to learn. Um, so by the time I got there, I knew people on the ground and I knew people that just got back from there. I knew all the stuff that I needed to do as far as my safety was concerned because it was a solo trip. And everything ended up working out great. I didn't disappear. I got to experience Shams and his family, and it was great. And I didn't just stay there for 2 months. I don't know. Look, I can't tell y'all why I do the things that I do because people think that I don't have like fear. I get scared. It just doesn't stop me from doing stuff. That's all. That's the best way that I can explain it. um. So yeah, I was there for 3 months on my first trip, and then I came back to Jacksonville and decided, okay, I'm gonna finally get an apartment. The thing is, I got an apartment with my son, the same one that I kicked off the road trip, and things just kind of went left because I had my two older kids with me. Um, the boys came to visit for the summer, the two younger ones. The curveball was my mom. I had mentally decided that the next time I saw her, she was gonna be, it was gonna be her funeral, literally, because of the situation with her. And I took the boys to see her and everything, you know. But apparently, that's not what God had planned for us. I gotta give y'all this story the way that it happened, but kind of like bookmark it or whatever. The boys are with me at my apartment for the summer. It's me, Jaden, and Morris. We're sitting in the living room, and I can't make this up because I was burning a sage incense, and the smoke kept going toward Jaden. And I made a joke, and I was like, Jaden, you must have bad juju. You need to be cleared because this smoke keeps coming toward you. Like, it was obviously pinpointing Jaden. But something told me, hold on, observe, watch, see what's happening here, because this ain't normal. The way that it's literally happening ain't normal. So what I did was I watched, because it was in my kitchen on the bar. And it was like if somebody was putting their hand over the smoke to make it go that way, and then just letting it up, and then it would go straight up. And I said, oh snap, somebody's in my kitchen. Oh, and then that's when I was like, okay, who's in my kitchen? Identify yourself, blah, blah, blah. You know, that whole mediumship thing, right? It was my uncle. My uncle was trying to get our attention. My uncle passed away a long time ago. But still, he was trying to get my attention, and I was like, oh snap. So, I received messages from him that I didn't want to receive, okay? Because, look, when you're dealing with a situation where somebody is on drugs, you don't really want to believe anything that they say, okay? And I didn't contact my mom very often because I just didn't want to hear anything. You know what I mean? And so he was like, you need to help your mom. You need to contact her. It's not her time. I was like, oh, okay. So I did. I contacted her, and she was like, I've been wanting to like talk to you about these things for so and so like weeks. She's been wanting to talk to me about some things, but I'm pretty sure she thought that I wasn't going to believe her either. Okay? So we talked initially, and you know I pulled cards because I needed reinforcements, and I was easy with everything. I was like, whatever, it's just talk. You know, I'm not expecting anything, right? Because people in abusive relationships, people on drugs, a lot of times they're not going to come to you and be like, I'm ready to change my life. Yes, let's do this. That's not going to happen in most cases when you want it to happen, or if you want it to happen. Like, that's why they're hard to help, right? And I just kept saying, you know, when you're ready, let me know. You know that I'll have you here in a heartbeat, right? She never lived outside of Texas before, ever, okay? This is a huge thing. So then one day I get the call that I wasn't expecting because I was just being loose with everything. And she was like, I'm ready. And I said, oh shit. So I had to call my friend to pay for a bus ticket because I didn't have it. And I had to call my ex-husband. I was like, yo, I'm going to need you to pick my mom up tomorrow morning and make sure that she gets on the bus. You need to lay eyes and make sure that, like, you see her on the bus when it's moving. You know, to make sure that it happens and she doesn't change her mind at the last minute. That's the short version of me kidnapping my mother because I couldn't tell my family what was going on or nothing. Okay, it was crazy last summer, you guys. So when she got to me, um, she was not in good shape, not just because of drugs, but because of medical issues. Um, God worked through her. So if y'all wonder where I get it from, the resilience, the everything, that woman is something else, literally, because Spirit moved through her and had her helped her through all of this. I didn't call anybody. I didn't arrange anything for her at all. She was on the phone, changing her doctors, changing everything. She was initiative after initiative. All I did was take her where she wanted to go, make sure she had her personal items and food. I was just there because all I was thinking was, I don't know how to deal with this. What is this? Like, no, I can't do this. you know, I wasn't there when she rehabbed when I was a child, but I'm sure she was in programs and stuff. That's not how this worked this time. And, she started going to doctors. And again, by then, I was done. I had bills now, and I was depleted. Okay, bringing mom, and then having the boys and all that stuff. Like, it was horrible financially. But we were, she was going to the doctors and things like that, and basically I had to find a point where I was gonna take myself out of the situation and heal and recover energetically. So once she got her heart cath done is when I said, okay, this major thing is done. Now I'm gonna go back to Ghana because I need so much right now because I had spent so much energy, time, money, effort. So I made sure she was in her apartment. We moved her into her apartment and everything. And I didn't care, you guys. Look, when I'm like the epitome of running off of faith. I left my apartment. I broke the lease. Like, I didn't care. I didn't even pay the last month's rent because that's what I paid the plane ticket. Okay. It got to the point to where I couldn't even be in my apartment because on top of everything else, I had neighbors feuding because remember, COVID, everybody's working from home, and I had drama with my neighbors and being threatened with eviction anyway because of the two neighbors fighting, and they're thinking it's me. I'm recording people, like, it's obviously not us. You know what I mean? So that was crazy by itself. So I ended up driving to the woods, sleeping in my car for a week, and then I found Hip Camp, which is freaking awesome. It's people who own a lot of land or have big yards, and they let you camp. It's like that Airbnb for campers. So I was down the street in somebody's yard, camping in my car because I could not be in that apartment. It got crazy. So yes, I got my mom into her apartment and I took off again to Africa. Okay? I needed my fiance. I needed a whole bunch of stuff. I had to recover. So I spent 3 more months in Africa. But this time we had some long talks and I was like, look, either I'm gonna be here and we're gonna build here, or I'm gonna focus on building in the US. We have to make the decision, but you must know that once the decision is made, that's it, right? So we decided that we were gonna start here in the US first, and then there was the decision of, are you gonna get an apartment again? Are you gonna buy a house? What are you gonna do, right? First of all, I wasn't even really in a position to buy a house that most people would think. Like, most people would look at my profile and be like, why are you even talking about buying a house right now? What is this, right? Being in Ghana allowed me to save at least $1,200 because Shams is really good with money and his family takes care of me when I'm there. Okay, So that's all I had. I had $1,200, and I looked at Shams, and I said, watch me buy this house with no money, cause all I had was $1,200. I said, I'm gonna buy a house, and then I text my friend casually. I'm like, hey, do you know a real estate agent? So then we get to talking. Next thing you know, we're looking at houses, and mind you, the housing market is jacked. It is not a buyer's market. Everything is more expensive. The interest rates are up. But oh, Josie decides she's gonna buy a house. Okay, so now I'm looking and I'm noticing that every house I actually choose and I decide I want to put an offer in, they're snatching it because that's how cutthroat the market is right now. So finally, I see a house and I just couldn't let it go. There was two we had to choose from, and Shams was all like, "Oh, we should get this one," and I was like, "No, I want that tree fort. I want that tree fort." It was the tree fort. So my realtor went and looked for me. She's doing this via Zoom, showing me video and stuff. Yeah, and somebody ended up buying it or it fell through. I don't even remember what happened. So the last man standing was this house with the tree fort. And I said, you know what? Put the offer in. She hadn't even shown me the house yet. I said, just put the offer in. We're going to do this backwards. So she put the offer in. And when you put an offer in, that's when you give them your earnest money so they know you're serious. So she put the offer in with the $1,000 that I had. I ain't had no money after that, you know. So we put the offer in, and I think maybe a week or so later, she was able to video chat with me and show me the place. And you know, once the process starts, you got paperwork, you're signing stuff constantly. Thank God you can do stuff online these days, because most of this was done online, okay? Because in the midst of me starting the process, after I put the offer in on this house while I was still in Ghana, I had to fly to Dallas. I couldn't just come straight back to Jacksonville. I had to fly to Dallas, stay with my friend that used to stay in Colorado. Thank God she was there, right? I had to go to Dallas because my son was graduating basic training in Missouri. And we decided we were going to road trip there from Dallas. But when I got to Dallas, I had to pop up on my two little ones in San Antonio because they weren't responding to my messages, nothing. Okay, so you know, I had to show up on them. So I showed up on them for a weekend. So I was in Dallas for, I think, a couple of weeks because of bad weather. It pushed my trip to San Antonio back. And then once I got back from San Antonio, we road trip to Missouri to see my son graduate from the same, okay, the same company, the same basic training program that I did. I can't make this up. Okay? He was in the same company. He was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, the same place I went and everything. So I survived that. We got back. And then I finally came back to Jacksonville. When I got to Jacksonville, I ended up having to go stay in Tallahassee because, again, we were still in the process of buying a house. So I went to Tallahassee to stay with my Ketu Mahadasha buddy, the Star Magic tribe. I went to go stay at her place, and I was there for about a month before finally I was closing on this house. And mentally, when I got this house, I was thinking I will sleep on the floor. I will eat off of plastic plates. I don't even care. I'm here, you know. I wasn't thinking about doing anything quickly or having a whole bunch of stuff, or I was just going to take my time, you know. I can rough it out, as y'all know. But there was a business thing that I had going on, and she was just waiting for me to close on the house. so that I could start 50 Essentials. While my credit was still good from the house, we needed to piggyback off of that to do the business stuff. And little did I know that it was going to be a bigger deal than just startup. So if you're wondering how I got into this house and then also have a 2022 Mazda CX-9 Soul Red, something I've been manifesting since 2015. I got that after I got this house. And then ended up getting the furniture and all of this stuff. It's because I ran into somebody that has an ability that is freaking out of this world, okay? Helped me pretty much do what I have been learning about but not executing, okay? As far as credit and business credit and that stuff, okay? I did not know that it wasn't just going to be her helping me start up 50 Essentials. So even though it's not like winning the lottery and you're just spending money on any and everything that you want, because everything is allotted. There's a plan, okay? And again, there's stepping stones, So once I get to a certain place, I'm able to help the next person and the next person, yada, yada. But that's where I am right now. But for the first time, I have the boys during the summer and I'm not dying trying to feed them. My bills are paid. Okay, I've had my whole life angels in the flesh constantly with me. Okay. I really, it's hard to explain to people these things, because one moment I'll say this and the next moment I'm doing that, this is what it's like being in the flow. So I entered my Venus Mahadasha recently. Shoot. In May, I believe. Yes. Like toward the end of May is when I entered my Venus Mahadasha. What I want to say to you guys that are going through a Ketu Mahadasha is you, like, depending on how well you let things go and followed your purpose and really leaned into spirituality, you'll start to actually see your Venus Mahadasha see through, because energy doesn't start and stop, right? During your Ketu Mercury, because that's the last part of the Mahadasha, you'll start to see evidence of the Venus Mahadasha coming through. Okay? Because I sure did. And we could talk about a Venus Mahadasha all day, every day. But until you're in it, you don't really get it. And again, people who went through a Ketu Mahadasha as children and then young adults go into a Venus Mahadasha, they're not really going to grasp it like a middle-aged person with responsibilities really does feel it when you go from Ketu dragging your ass through the mud to Venus crowning you. It's legit. Okay. I don't even know. So this is your mustard seed. This is your hope, because everything that you're going through in your Ketu Mahadasha right now, you may have gotten divorced, lost your home, lost your kids, got sick. You really had to dig deep and really show up for yourself. Okay. There is a silver lining. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. There's redemption. You may have gotten ridiculed, all kind of stuff. Your prize is a 20-year period where Venus rules your life. That's love, that's money, that's material. So that little 7 years that you had to go through the hell that you went through, there's a Venus Mahadasha following it. It's 20 years long. And the reason why you went through that Ketu Mahadasha before your Venus Mahadasha is when your ass becomes a millionaire, billionaire, you have the right attitude about it and you don't jack it up. Your spiritual foundation had to be there before you started receiving these things. Because the purpose of your Venus Mahadasha particularly is to receive, to impart. Again, the ones that go through this in the middle of their life, it's because they have a purpose to help a lot of people, large groups of people. So you're going to be doing big things, okay? That's why these resources and things are coming in. So you're going to have your head on right and not be thinking me, or egotistical or materialistically. I kid you not. These people that helped me get this house probably thought I was nuts, because every time they called me with a problem or they ran into an issue, I was like, it's okay. And there was one point where they tried to gig me for the child support that I'm supposed to be paying, that we agreed that I didn't need to pay, and we keep receipts for that, right? They tried to keep me from getting this house because I'm court ordered to pay child support. We don't need to get into that. But yet and still, I am victorious. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something. And there's a million ways to do one thing, okay? But when they told me that, I got in my feelings for a hot second. I sure did. I said, no, not after that divorce. No, he does not have power here. Don't even let yourself feel like a victim. I gave myself 5 minutes to lose my shit, and then I changed my mindset about the situation. Instead of saying, if I lose this house because of that shit, I'ma lose it. No, I switched it up. I said, no, this is gonna happen in spite of that. And it did. Okay? Nothing can stop you. Okay, nothing can stop you but you. Literally. So yeah, now I'm here. And it feels like the Twilight Zone still, because Shams is not here yet. We're dealing with immigration. That's a process, right? My mom is here. She's doing well. She's speaking that wisdom. Total turnaround. Blessings upon blessings, okay? The boys are here. I found an awesome private school that's small. For them, I'm just like, and none of this I was looking for. Believe me, y'all, I was not trying to be bothered. For me, I know how I manifest because Pisces is in my second house. I have to let it go, genuinely. I have to really want it and then say, screw it. I don't even care about wanting it no more. I have to not want it, and then the most comes in. That's why I would talk to y'all about looking at your second house, because that's going to tell you how you manifest. The sign in your second house. I have to not be attached to it in order to get it. So yeah, this is where we are now. I got the tree fort. There's a swimming pool in my backyard. I ain't asked for it. It's happening. There's a lot that's just happening. I got my beautiful garden. Love that man in overalls. Oh, they put that garden together in 2 days. It waters itself automatically. And we're just going to continue from here. 50 essentials. I've been wanting to do that for so long. So yeah, we're shifting. And this is where we are now. We're in the Venus Mahadasha now. I'm out of the Ketu Mahadasha, and it's like going to basic training. It's like martial arts training. You hate your sensei. You hate your drill sergeant when you first get there, but at the end you understand everything and you're so grateful. That's that's Ketu right there. I'm so grateful for everything that I had to feel, that I had to lose. I mean, shit got crazy. Okay? But I'm here. We're here. Everybody's fine. Everything's okay. Um, things are happening. And now I know more what it means to be in the flow. It's wild. You literally have to allow yourself to lose your mind because nothing is like we were ever taught. You have to forget everything that you were taught if you want to manifest your life. It's not just about material things, it's about situations, it's about whole scenarios. And sometimes you got to manifest whole scenarios just to get what it is that you want. Like, this is no longer about just law of attraction and, oh, I'm this CEO and I have this big house, blah, blah, blah. No. Because we're literally manifesting the fifth dimension, the fifth density, new earth, blessed Gaia, whatever you want to call it, is coming through us. And some of us think it's just a concept, but some of us are at the point where we realize, oh, this is real and it's coming through me. I have to train my mind to hold steady and really project my vision and not get distracted. Your mental programming is a big deal right now. You have got to be the master of your mind. Joe Dispenza, I'm addicted to him right now. He has this series on Gaia events. Me and the boys are doing it. It's great. Yeah. Like, you're literally living in the darkness of the quantum field. Like if you're in the womb of your mother or something. Like, we are inside of the seat of all creation right now, but a lot of people don't really like get it. But it's okay. But yeah, hopefully that helped you guys in your Ketu Mahadasha and informed other people that may not be having this experience. But yeah, this is where we are. Blessings and healing and love and expansion and just everything to you guys. Thank you so much. Please go subscribe if you have not to the Fifth Essentials channel. I'm trying to move everybody over there. I know. But I'm trying to move everybody over there. So please help me move everybody to the 50 Essentials channel so I can start going live from my phone. And YouTube has a typo. They said 50 people, but it's actually 1,000 people that you're supposed to have before you get to go live from your phone. So I'm gonna suck it up and start shooting these videos from my computer until we reach 1,000. But I love you guys and thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I appreciate all of your support and love, your energy. Even when you could not give donations, your energy is what did it. You've got to believe that when you always have something to give, okay? So yeah, love ya. Talk to you guys soon.